Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. Is the AI bubble already starting to pop? I think there's evidence that is the case, and we're going to start to see those numbers when second quarter results are released. But there's two things that I want to highlight, and that is the trends for people actually looking for artificial intelligence. At the end of the day, you can build as much AI technology as you want. ChatGPT can improve as much as they want. We can start incorporating this into all kinds of other products. But if people aren't demanding artificial intelligence, if they aren't seeking it out, then this isn't going to be a phenomenal business and a phenomenal growth story like it was built to be just a few months ago. So I want to get into a couple of the trends that I think investors should look at and what this might mean for earnings in the future. My name is Travis Hoyam. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content and check out my newsletter, Asymmetric Investing, below in the show notes. And I want to start with the Google Trends because I think this is a really interesting story right now. This is Google Trends. And what Google Trends does is it tells you how much people are searching for a specific term. The y-axis here is an index that peaks at 100. So these aren't actual searches per day or anything like that, but it gives you a relative understanding of our searches for a certain term rising or falling. You can see here that as early as November 2022, no one was searching for ChatGPT because it simply didn't exist. But then it became the fastest growing product in the world. By mid-December, searches had shot up and things actually peaked in April. Mid-April was when searches for ChatGPT really started to peak. And since then, we have seen a drop off at a really rapid rate. This index is now at 52. So this is a level that we haven't seen since early January. And you might remember the surprise in the first quarter was the growth of companies like Nvidia and Microsoft on the back of a lot of this artificial intelligence spending. So when were consumers and customers thinking about artificial intelligence most? That first quarter. It is very possible that we have already seen the peak of interest in artificial intelligence. I want to go to the artificial intelligence term itself. You can see here that artificial intelligence is something that didn't have zero searches a year ago. There was a certain level of interest, but things did peak at the same time as they did for ChatGPT. A spike here late in the first quarter, late March, and then in mid-April is when things really peak. But since then, again, things are really starting to trail off. The index is currently at 45, so down about 50% from its peak in April and hovering about where it was in the January-February timeframe. So why is this important for investors? Well, this chart really gives the answer. NVIDIA and C3 AI, I think, are really two proxies for investor interest in artificial intelligence. And you can see that both of them hit a low point really at the start of 2023. But like I said, that's when the interest in ChatGPT really started to take off. You can see here on this chart that there's really two low points to note. One is in early November when ChatGPT was introduced. There was some interest and things started to take off for both of these stocks as a result. Then in January, things hit a low again and the stock started to rise. The sharp increase that you see in April and early May, that's when earnings were released. So that was earnings for the first quarter, and these companies gave an idea of what things were looking like for the second quarter and for the rest of the year. Nvidia in particular projected a ton of growth for the second quarter and for the remainder of 2023. That's what they saw at the end of the first quarter. So the question for investors right now is, have we passed the point of peak interest in artificial intelligence and peak investment in artificial intelligence? We know that there were multi-billion-dollar orders that went into Nvidia just from startups that raised money to buy AI graphics cards. That was what they spent a majority of their money on for their startup, was just buying assets from Nvidia. This is going to be something that's going to be fascinating to see play out over the next few quarters, because I think long term there's going to be a lot of disruption from artificial intelligence, a lot of ways that we use it in our everyday lives. But I do think that the interest and the investment in the first quarter of 2023 is probably an aberration and probably a bubble. So what is the right level of growth? What is the right level of spending? Did these stocks go too far? That's something that we're going to answer over the next few quarters. But my caution for investors is don't think that the growth that was reported in the first quarter, and especially the growth that was projected for the future, is going to continue forever. Because if we were in a bubble, some of these stocks may come down to earth as interest in artificial intelligence comes back to reality as well. But what do you think? Is AI in a bubble? Love to hear your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.